All right, it is that time of the month once again. Here at WMC, our shared interest is not only limited to helping you plan your wealth and your estate, but we also share a love for learning and knowledge because we believe that the future belongs to those who learn, unlearn, and relearn. Welcome, everybody, to this month's discovery session of the WMC Book Club. My name is TJ Panganiban, and together with my colleagues, Ashley Janet.
Good afternoon.
Kaloy.
Have a great day, everyone. Welcome back.
And Amy.
Hello.
We hope to encourage all of you guys to pick up a book and get into the habit of reading. By reading the writings of the brilliant minds in history, we meditate with our minds as well as theirs. That is a powerful, magical connection that only a book can create. In today's session, we will share our discoveries from the book, Man's Search for Meaning. Maybe we all can show, a copy of the book. Mine is an e-copy.
Same here.
Yep.
A hard copy for me.
Yeah, me too.
Ay po mag-show nung sa akin, no? Pareho kami ni Ashley Janet. That's right.
It stopped on his picture.
Okay.
Yeah, me also on that book.
Okay.
Okay,
It's somewhere
just give me
here.
Okay, yung sa akin ayaw din niyang lumabas. If you can see it.
There you go.
Well, there we go.
That is
there.
the author. Yeah.
That is him. Well, we're at whatever form of copy that you guys have, whether it be paperback or whether it be an e-copy, we guarantee you that this book is surely one that should be on your favorite list. This is by celebrated Austrian physicist, psychiatrist, and Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl. This remains as his indispensable 1946 psychological memoir. Remember what I said earlier? We are reading the minds of those in history. It was written in 1946 and it's now 2021 and it remains relevant for all of us. This is a meditation on what the gruesome experience Auschwitz taught him. For 4 years of his life, Victor lived in a concentration camp, herded around like cattle, surviving on meager rations of food, not knowing whether he was going to live to see the next day. Yet survive he did, for he showed enormous willpower and courage to make it through this day, then the next day, then the next day, until his liberation came. The reason why he was able to do so is because he found meaning in his experience and a sense of purpose that willed him to survive. He lived through that horrible experience so that he could teach others, like all of us reading his book, to live a better life. As a psychiatrist, he developed a method called logotherapy that he used for treating patients who suffered from depression, substance abuse, anxiety, and various other problems. It was based on Frankl's observation that those people who survived the concentration camps during the Holocaust were the ones who found the strongest will to live by finding meaning. Frankl then summarized that the primary force that motivates people in life is to find its meaning. He called it will to meaning. Trivia time. Did you guys know that I chanced upon this book right about the time when the pandemic started? We were all doing all right. Well, like for most of us, like the four of us, we're all doing fine. And then the pandemic happened. And suddenly, everything started to have lost its meaning. The pandemic and its uncertainties made all of us confused and scared. None of us have ever experienced it in our lifetime. And this is basically, our collective, the last pandemic that we'll ever see through ever. And in reading this book, I learned that in suffering, we can find meaning. Interesting, right? So let us get the discussion started. Let's hear it from our colleague. So our first question, interesting. Our first question, you all probably found it weird. Now my first question. So I'll read it all to you guys. Prior to reading the book, what is the meaning of your own life based on your own definition, shaped by your experiences, relationship, or etc.? And after that, how do you feel about your meaning, the meaning of your life after reading the book? Did it change? Why and how? So, she missed us the last time, so we'll give the floor first to Amy. So let's hear it from you, Amy. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. So while reading this book, I have my self-reflection. But prior to my meaning of life, I give it as being successful in all forms. That's me. That's how I try to live my life. Success in all forms, all shapes, and giving back to my family, because for me they are my why initially. And then yes, the pandemic happened, and then I have this deeper thought, because during the pandemic some good things really happened. There are bad things and good things, but it came to a time that I realized what's next for me. In our business, what's next? I am not really pushed by the what do you call this, the lavish of the congratulations, recognitions. I'm not really into that, but I think that it is a result of something that you do. So while I'm really finding out the meaning of my life, I came across a certain mentor to find my purpose. So by reading this book, it just came into me that it just reinforced the meaning that I am making my life going towards it. So I will share my life's purpose now. So that I set for myself is to live in abundance out of love and service. So I am just so glad that our business makes it possible to do that. Because when we think of serving the people that we love, that is our family, my kids, my husband, my relatives, the people that are close to you, it's still you. So you are not living really the life for others when you choose to live for them. Because I feel that I will find more meaning in my life if I will share it to the world. When you give out yourself for other people, not really close to you, it may be a friend or really a stranger. So that is where I find meaning in my life. So this book really reinforced that the purpose, the thing that I want to do with my life. It says here though, the meaning is unique and specific in that it can be fulfilled by himself alone. So sometimes you will feel na it's what do you call that? So grand. If my son will say, pang Miss Universe. You know what? My son will tell me, pang Miss Universe naman yung ano mo, ma'am, yung meaning mo. But that's how I find meaning to my life. So this book is just reinforce what I want to fulfill. Yes. So that's it.
Bumawi
That's
si
nice.
Amy, Bumawi si
Oh.
Amy.
That's nice. We missed hearing from you, Amy. That's
Yeah.
actually kahit na pang miss you pa yan, but we honor you, for your
Yes.
response because it's authentic and it's personal. How about you, Kaloy? Was the experience for you personal as well?
Well, I encountered this book pretty while back, like 5 years ago. I was checking it because every time that I buy a book kasi, I write down the month and the year that I bought this. So I just checked it a few weeks ago, and I bought it on July 2015. And during this time period, I was in transition phase in my career. I believe this was the first time that I got my very first medallion in Sun Life, which is a gold medallion during the August champion. So I think this book helped me quite a lot when as I go through the transition of changing my career in Sun Life with our company with Sun Life. But to talk about more about your question about how have I been before I got introduced by this book. Before kasi I was living my life as ano lang, go with the flow. Kumbaga, if this one is working for me, then go ahead. But if it's not working, I shift at another. I shift doing other stuff, and maybe do another side gig for that matter. And all throughout my life, palagi akong ganun. Na I'm just doing this, not really focusing on what I'm really after, what I'm really gunning for. Because at that time, wala pa akong concept ng ganun eh. Because siguro I'm coming in that time as a young man na parang wala pa talagang pangarap. Basta you're earning substantial amount of money, okay na yun. Kumbaga, basta nabibili ko naman yung dapat kong bilhin. So, my life was good at that time. But when the pandemic came, it all kind of realigned for me. And rediscovering this book at this time really is an eye-opener for me because right now, there's a sort of not only realignment but also a redirection sa aking mga goals and mga dreams sa buhay ko. If you're asking me right now, kung ano na ngayon yung nakikita ko sa sarili ko, it's not really about the career that I'm focusing on, but more of the how can I give back? I mean, what are the things that I need to do so that what I see myself end at the future would happen. Kasi just to give you a briefer on how I see myself, I try to apply what I learned from this book, what I learned from Stephen Covey, what I've learned from the other books that we've read about determining the end goal in mind. How do you for the part of the 7 habits is the second habit natin, di ba, which is begin with the end in mind. And for me, I really took that literally. So for this one, and especially the way that I'm living my life right now is that the way that I see, it's a bit morbid. So ano lang, preno lang ako sa mga nakikinig sa atin sa online pag na-launch na natin to. Pero for me kasi, the way that I see my life ending is that I am in front of a classroom, I am teaching, and then I would just drop dead. And that's it. That's a life well spent for me. So it's really teaching and, you know, teaching. Yun talaga. I've internalized this for almost 2 years already. Sabi ko, ano ba talaga ang habol ko sa buhay? So, yeah, that's how I see myself, just teaching. And I think everything that has happened to me, everything that I've been planning to do right now always tends to lead towards that. And I think that's one of the main reason and one of the main precepts of the book. Like, how do you see yourself transcending from your current situation? Kasi yun yung nangyari kay Dr. Frankl, di ba? He met with 2 types of people. The first one was someone who dreamt that they're going to be free by Christmas Day. Di ba? But hindi nangyari yon at before pa ng Christmas Day namatay yung tao na yon. Versus another person naman na in-interview rin niya kasama niya sa concentration camp na sabi niya, and even sa kanya, yung personal story niya, di ba, na I want to see my wife. Regardless if she's alive or well, I just want to see her outside the concentration camp. So, yung pinangahawakan baga, yun ang major lesson na nakuha ko from this book eh. Something na dapat kang may panghawakan sa buhay mo na you don't necessarily know when this will happen, but you know and you believe in your heart that it is going to happen. That's what keeps you going sa buhay eh. So that's the thing that I nag-shift yung aking thinking from before I encountered this book up until now.
Kailan ka ba namin tatawagin Professor Kaloy?
Pag umaten na kayo sa WMC ulit. So,
for a review. For a review.
Yes, for the WMC review. For those of you who are members of the WMC Alumni Community, and you haven't took your Revalida exam, you may enroll to our Revalida review. session this coming November 12 and in succeeding months before you take the actual exam, so that you have a higher chance of passing that exam. Again, the WMC Revalida review is an accredited review system supported by the WMC Board of Directors.
Yan, may plugging tayo.
Oo nga.
Hello, Attorney Cabrera. Yan.
Yeah,
And happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary.
Happy
40th
anniversary.
ba? 40th,
Yes,
right?
40th.
Oh,
40th wedding anniversary nila ni Tech.
my
Amazing.
gosh.
Yeah.
A lot of good things happening. So,
I know.
you guys, if you want to learn more about, Kaloy's personal experience, more intimate settings, so to speak, also review sessions, then sign up for that review session. Be certified so you guys can also join us in this book club and, get to interact with all of us.
Yes.
So for Amy, it was, I think yung sharing niya, for the family, yun yung meaning niya. Kaloy naman would be like how to be the best version of himself with the time that he has on his hand. So I'm passing it to you now, actually, Janet. You guys, every time we have this book club, yung always interesting or excited ako to hear from would be actually Janet, because among all of us, siya kasi yung meron ng mas malawak na experience ba sa atin, no? And lagi kong ina-admire kasi when people have numbers, when I say numbers, age their numbers, meaning ang dami na nilang experiences. So let's hear it from you, actually, Janet. How was your experience, before reading the book and then after reading the book?
Yes. So FYI, I have 8 years to go before I get my senior citizen card. So I'm very excited, looking forward to that day. But
Yes.
I've always seen my search for meaning. They came in stages. No, so when I was, and let's talk about my adult life. No, when it was. When I was still married and we were starting off a family and we were running a business, it was to be the ideal wife, to be that person who will support my husband in business and in family. And I truly believe I've accomplished that role beyond what is expected of me. Kasi I juggled both. I was doing the accounting for our office, and anything that has to deal with numbers comes through me. As in, and at that time, I wasn't very familiar with putting all my files in digitally. So everything is in paper form. So you would see boxes and boxes of receipts and columnar notebooks stocked away. However, as you've already know, my marriage after 12 years, I think, didn't work out. It went down the drain. And so at that time, I was very lost. And I was still looking for meaning for life. And actually, because of the depression that I was going through, because of the heartaches and alam mo yung parang hindi ka matahimik, no? I even thought of taking my own life, no? Kaso lang, sabi ko, pag ikakabig ko tong manibelang to, mahuhulog ako doon sa we live in Quezon City and there's a very long parang creek sa gitna ng Araneta Avenue. Sabi ko, hihuhulog ko doon, mababaw lang tong creek na to eh. Pag hindi ako namatay, nakakahiya. So, so hindi ko ginawa. But actually, what came through my mind was my children. If I would do this to myself, what's going to happen to my children? So, yung meaning ng life ko from then on revolved around my kids. It was always about my kids. The reason why I came into this business was because I have to provide for my children. However, I decide on what to do, even dating. When I went back to the dating scene, lahat kailangan makakabuti sa mga anak ko. Kaya nga hanggang ngayon, pretty much still single. No? Kasi hindi nag-work out eh. However, Now I have 4 young adult kids. One, my second is in Sydney, very independent. She will be moving to Melbourne in December next month, no, and will be starting her life there, a career and everything. My 2 youngest kids are already enrolled in a university in Melbourne and will be moving there once travel restrictions are lifted. My eldest also have plans of going abroad. She doesn't know where yet, but she has that already planned out. So if I am going to still put everything where my children is, it's going to get me back to depression again, because they will be far away. So now I'm at that point wherein, geez, so what is really the meaning of my life? I'm an avid fan of Simon Sinek, and for the longest time, I have been doing some soul searching now. Longest time meaning probably 3 or 4 years already. And I just couldn't, I couldn't pinpoint what is the meaning of my life. Until after I read this book, I finally realized that, hey, you know what? What I'm trying to do right now already states what is the meaning that I found in my life moving forward. And what am I doing now? I'm talking to people. I've hired professionals so that I can expand my business and later on prepare a succession plan. No. However, I told the whole team, I don't plan to build an empire. No. Just like what Amy mentioned kanina, no? Yung success, it should be a byproduct. No. Yeah. So the empire, if it's going to happen, then it's going to happen. But my purpose is, and I told the team, 2 most important people in the business that I do are, number 1, my staff, because they've been with me from day 1. They've been through so much with me. Number 2, my clients, because they put their trust in me. And, the clients that I've worked with have been with me since I started the business. And some of them a bit shorter, but they trusted me. So I have to value that trust. So these are the 2 most important people in my business. And if I die tomorrow, I have to have a plan set out today so that they won't be at a loss. So that is what I'm doing right now. I have to have a succession plan put up so that walang mabibigla, walang maliligaw, walang parang ma-orphan na policy, walang ma-orphan na kliyente. At the end of the day, it is important that they know that I am preparing as well. Yun. And that's the responsibility of a financial advisor. It is not just to advise our client while they are alive. It is also to put a plan in place while we, the advisors, are still alive. So, and then, later on, I plan to slow down. Don't ask me when, I don't know, because my digital marketing guy said, 30 more years, sabi ko, Joey, that will be 82 na ako. I don't think I want to do that much. But I do want to slow down. I can't find myself not working. I cannot see myself not working. However, I can choose to slow things down, work whenever I want to. Maybe parang specialista na lang na doktor, by appointment na lang, or twice a week lang, make it a choice rather than a necessity. So I'm there, baby. And I'm enjoying it. 2 emotions that I'm feeling right now is so much excitement and fear because of the unknown. Can I do this? Am I able to do this? Will it be successful? Because, this is the first time that I'm dipping my toes into waters that I've never been in. No, but the excitement is it's overpowering the fear. So there you go.
Well, what did I tell you? Di ba? Actually, Janet, well-defined na. Her meaning in her life. And yun nga, no, the meaning that we all found is shaped by our experiences. And while we're all very different in our responses, I think I relate to all of you. If I may share mine, before I read the book, I'm sure all of us, no, nagsulat tayo ng life plan natin. When we were younger, what do you want to be when you want to grow up? May autobiography. Di ba may slam book pa no? When we were younger, no? Na what do you want to be when you grow up and whatnot.
What is love? Mga ganon.
Yeah, may mga ganyan pa. No? And at that time, when we were young, no, limited pa our experiences as well as our knowledge. Siguro hindi pa ganun ka-define. But then in my case, the moment I decided to have a child, that's when defined na din siya for me. What's the meaning of my life? What's my why? Ultimately, it is to give him the best life. Until I can get him to that age of independence. So kagaya ni Achi Janet, sana dumating na din ako dun sa stage na yun na he just turned 18. Papunta na din siya doon, na young adult. So ultimately yun, that was, even before I read the book, that's the meaning of my life. And then when my parents, nadagdagan lang siya, when my parents retired na, and of course we know alam naman natin na yun, that their time may come earlier than all of us. So yung aspiration ko is that while I still have them, to give them the best, retirement years or whatever is left for this, in this life for both of them. So yung kung pareho, both Achi and Amy na family sila, yung sa akin yun yung anchor ko. But then in me being able to do so, to provide for my kid and for my parents, that's me being the best version of myself. Just like, the meaning of Kaloy's life. Ang ganda, no? It's so nice that how we're all related. Yung struggle lang, which is alluding to our next question, however defined the meaning of our life is. However, pag dumadating yung mga struggles na yan, that's when it gets a little shaky. No, we tend to not only second guess, but then, self-doubt. Ito nga ba talaga siya? Ano nang gagawin natin? So, I'd like to ask the group now, think of a situation in your life, where you felt powerless, even if defined na yung meaning ng life ninyo, and then share with us, the situation, and how that powerlessness, made you feel, and how did you overcome it? Oh, boys first naman ngayon. So, Kaloy, share with us your experience.
All right. So for this one, I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable to you ladies about what happened. It's this particular relationship, hindi naman fairly recently, pero a few years back, that I've let somebody control how I feel about my life and about the people that I interact to. So this was the first person kasi na parang I sort opened up myself to be in a relationship with. But yun nga, it wasn't very good for me. All the while, like what I felt before, na parang it's just a give and take, which is supposed to be all types of relationships should be. Pero sa bandang dulo, naramdaman ko parang take na lang siya ng take sa akin. Parang I was already being taken advantage of sa buhay ko. And I was in that relationship for almost a year already that time. So I really felt powerless that time kasi all the while I was thinking that if this person if I keep on feeding this person, o kaya parang palagi ko siya pinagbibigyan na parang pag nawala siya, paano na ako? Kumbaga, siya lang yung nagpakita sa akin na mahal niya ako ng time na yun. So parang I've let that control my life for almost a year. Na I sort of parang there are times na I keep on realigning my schedules to just to meet with ano to? Para pagbigyan siya sa mga kagustuhan niya na parang punta tayo dito, may kliyente ako, sige na nga kasi parang feeling ko pag hindi ko siya nasunod, mawawala siya, sa kanya ko lang naramdaman yung parang yung sinabi natin kanina, 'di ba? No? What is love? Parang ganoon, 'di ba? So parang that held me back. That really held me back sa buhay ko kasi all the while I was thinking lang na parang kung ano sabihin niya, kung ano papagawa niya, kung saan niya kami gusto pumunta, parang makakabuti for us and makakabuti rin sa akin. Kasi nga I felt na love niya ako noong time na yun. Pero yun nga, it was slowly eating up my self-worth trend. It was slowly eating up my self-esteem rin to add to that. So I really felt powerless and I really felt like parang I wasn't in control of my life anymore. So the way that I am able to get out of that feeling is by first acknowledging it na parang hindi naman talaga siya yung may control ng buhay ko. Kumbaga I also have the choice to know whether or not nakakabuti pa ba sa akin to o hindi, or may iba lang aspeto ng buhay ko na apekto sa akin. So I was able to get out of that situation and it feels liberating when you do that. In relation to the book, especially for mas sa worst na environment na na-encounter ni Dr. Frankl, di ba, na talagang external forces are really in control of your life. Kumbaga parang hindi ka pwedeng matulog. Pag hindi nila sinabi matulog, mamamatay ka kung kailan nila gusto ikaw mamatay. Magtatrabaho ka kung kailan ka nila hanggat may energy ka. So I think that's one thing rin na nakuha ko from that book. If I may quote the book, it's not it's the last freedom that can be taken away from us, diba? Our freedom to choose why we continue on living. So I think yun rin yung naging lesson sa akin, the moment that I become aware that situations around me are no longer working for me, are no longer for my betterment, then I have that ability, I have that choice to get out of that and to transcend out of that. So there you go.
Thank you, Kaloy. No, a follow-up question to you, which also Dr. Frankl Dr. Frankl made mention also in the book. No, that's also one of the driving forces that willed him to survive. No, love. Yung experience mo nga. It does seem like a very challenging relationship, so to speak. Nagbago din ba? No, yung definition mo of, what love is, being in that kind of a relationship.
Yeah. Currently, I don't know if she's listening, pero she's out of the kasi. She's gonna listen.
Well, we hope she's listening. No, we hope she's listening.
So currently, ngayon kasi ang na-experience ko, it's more of a give and take already. Like, for instance, before, I would sort of feel nga, kasi coming out of that previous relationship, na parang ang feeling ko, parang ako yung daldal ng daldal, ako yung parang kwento ng kwento. So parang ngayon, nahuhuli ko rin yung sarili ko na parang, you ask about her day naman, how is she, how are her goals, how are her dreams. So for me right now, whether or not our dreams are aligned, like for example, ngayon kasi she plans to go to work abroad. Tapos ako, I plan to stay here in the Philippines regardless who's gonna win like next year. So just be open and just be supportive of each other. I think that is what love is. I've heard a very good homily by a priest that I've always attended mass every morning. Ang sabi niya, when love stops becoming an emotion and it becomes a decision, that's when you know that's true love already. The moment that you decided.
Oh.
That it's no longer just yung gut, yung feeling giddy, yung butterflies in the stomach. So yun yung ano nun eh. Doon ka doon nagiging mature yung pagtingin mo sa tao. So yeah.
Thank you, Kari. That's true, no? Love kasi in itself, by definition, it's an emotion, and emotions really are very potent. And sometimes it can also corrupt, the way we think, the way we behave in our decisions. But then when you find the true meaning of love, that one, it no longer becomes an emotion, it becomes a decision. And you both nga grow individually while still, loving one another deeply. Huwag kang mag-alala. Feeling ko marami kaming referrals dito sa iyo.
Yes, I was
Lumaki
just
pa
going
tayo.
to say. I was just
Yan.
going to say.
Diba?
Tsaka baka dyan sa aspetong yan, makakapulot ako ng tip kay Kaloy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, ayan na. We may also start like, a club on, networking and referrals. Diba? No, we'll help you in that aspect.
There's an app for that, TJ. There's already an app for that.
We have to ask Attorney Leo, pwede bang mag-WMC dating app tayo?
Yeah, no. Diba? You guys, we're growing and evolving to serve, all of your needs and our needs as well as individuals. Anyway, so passing it on to you, actually, Janet. No, we know about your love story, so to speak. Was there ever a time in your life that because of love you felt powerless too, or in life in general, a moment of powerlessness, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, before I get into that, yung kina-quote ni Kaloy kanina, and I'll read it, no? It says, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Ayan. Actually, 1 hour is not enough for me to tell you all about it. But what I will share is the most recent, no, which was yesterday. It was just yesterday. Yeah. So I've been doing this walking exercise every morning kasi, our work requires us to be stationary most of the time. So I have to make it a point to set aside 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes in the morning to do a walking exercise. And while and this is on YouTube, while the instructor was giving those pep talk, you can do it, just move the furniture around. And this was in the middle of the walking exercise already. I just felt teary-eyed. She was trying to be positive. She was, giving out very, and she has a very happy face. I mean, reason why I have her on. One of the many reasons why I would choose videos is because of the instructor's appearance, approach, how they speak, no? Nakakainganyo mag-workout. Kaso lang in the middle of everything, I just suddenly feel like I needed to cry, and I wasn't bawling out my eyes, but I was teary-eyed, and I had to, alam mo yung pagka nasosobrahan ka ng emotions, it becomes so physical. That was what I was feeling, no?
Manifest sa physical siya.
And I'm like, but I continued with the workout. I just had to finish it. Pero nagtaka ako, why all of a sudden, and I knew why I was feeling like that, but why all of a sudden did I feel so overwhelmed with emotions, no? Number one, the plan to come up with a succession plan and also expanding the business, hiring new people. Number two, I'm planning to build a house down south. So that would entail a lot of responsibility as well. Nabalik ako doon sa dalawang emotion na nararamdaman. And then my children, I mean, I'm still responsible for these human beings, right? Nabalikan ko yung dalawang emotions na yun, yung excitement, tsaka yung being afraid. For the past few days, for siguro mga over a week na, the excitement was overpowering the being afraid part, no? Siguro, it suddenly dawned on me that, hey, you're in this on your own. It's great to plan when you are the decision maker, kasi nobody's gonna say anything. And if ever you make a bad choice and you fall flat on your face, nobody's gonna blame you, and you can't blame anybody else but yourself, right? So, but nandun din yung what if I make the wrong decision? What if the decisions that I'm making right now would lead towards some kind of failure in the business or in the construction? So nandun din yon. So ngayon naman na overpower naman yung fear, no? Kaya I started my day not doing okay. And I was like, alam mo yung pagka feeling mo gusto mong lunukin? No, lamunin ka na lang ng lupa para tapos na. That was what I was feeling yesterday morning. But I said, I can't stay this way. There are times in the past that whenever I would experience such kind of emotions, I would just allow myself that day, to feel it. 'Di ba? Kasi tao lang, 'di ba? Minsan nararamdaman natin, as long as I know I don't plan to stay here for a very long time. One day is enough. And if I can get over it right away, that would be even better. So how did I overcome it? I realized that I just have to put one foot in front of the other. I just have to keep moving. So I started talking to people. I'm now a great fan of Slater Young on YouTube. I'm saying hi to Slater in case he hears me. But he's
and we will see you later.
Yes. So he's an engineer. He gives tips, no? Because he built his own house. So he gives tips. So nakikinig na ako sa kanya, and I'm learning. Sabi niya, oh, you have to do this, do that. So I started. I called up my contractor. I talked to my architect. I had like short meetings. I talked to people. I did some research, no? So it's just putting in the activities so that I know I'm moving. I am not stagnant on where I was yesterday morning. I just have to keep moving. And I realized, hey, it's working. Because at the end of the day, the excitement came back. So that's just it. So that's the most recent, kahapon lang.
pero very nice, no? So Kaloy was sharing earlier, no, that yung emotion that we talked about was love. In Archie's case, Archie Janet's case naman, no, it's excitement and fear. No, it's nice that we're talking about those emotions also. But in her sharing, I think how she really overcame it is first nga, just like what Dr. Viktor Frankl did, no? Yung in observing what's going on around you, including yourself. No, you acknowledge that you're both excited and that you're also scared at the same time. But then, ano ba yung gagawin mo, no? It was you who brought yourself to that situation. It's you also who can get yourself out of that situation. And then that's just, what actually did. Very recent. Feeling ko, Amy, recent din yung sharing mo, no? So let's hear it, no?
Okay. So actually, I did not, I am going through all the questions, but I didn't. This pandemic has made all people powerless and suffer. So I have just the same as Kalois and Achi. So what I did to overcome that feeling is that I have to accept that I'm not in control. If you are doing something and you are not getting the result that you want, it's really because you are not in control. The only thing that you can control is the effort that you put it in, especially in our business, the time that we put in our business, the people that we talk to. But in return, if they will be our client, if if will it, I started to accept that if God wants them to be of my service, they will go to me. But if it's not, if the people is not for me, then I have no control. So sometimes at the height of our emotion, no, if actually Janet's crying for fear and excitement, sometimes I cry for feeling of rejection. You know, we cannot overcome that because this is our business. And the main reason why it is happening is because I'm so focused here. So, way back, I have other things in my plate. And right now, this is what I have. This is what I am putting my heart with. So if people don't see the value that I put in the table, it's because it's not, I don't have the, it's not for me. So that's what I do. I have no control over them. I have control over my reactions. So if it's not for me, then yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
That's true.
May
That's
may
true.
quote si Victor dyan eh. Okay, it is not freedom from conditions, but it is freedom to take a stand towards the conditions. So it's what you do when you are stuck in whatever circumstance that you are in.
That's true. That's true. And yeah, for my part, that's where I relate the most. The time when I feel most powerless is, when I have when I have no control of what's going on. Recent din yung sharing ko, no? I think I shared this briefly with actually Janet last week, no? And normally, this is really when it gets crazy for me. When one of my family members is sick. Like last week, no, my son, he fell sick. And that really frustrates me because nasa loob na nga lang tayo ng bahay, eh. The biggest threat to our health is outside, no? I've kept them inside for the longest time. Pero ngayon pa na-trigger yung asthma niya, he develop allergies. So parang to me, no, parang as a parent, what am I doing wrong? No, parang kung kailan na nasa loob sana siya, dapat nga dun siya his most healthiest. But then, much like everybody else, the pandemic did not sit well for him, for all of us. So at that point, no, inisip ko na lang that, I did everything that I could, to keep the house clean, to keep him healthy. Yung whatever will be the result of that to him or to his body, hindi ko na makontrol yun. Anyway, we're getting treatment naman. Our doctors are helping all of us to get through this. Basta lagi kasi ako nahuhuli doon. And then if I may share to everybody, actually Janet can relate to this too, no? Being a single parent naman, it's not really a life of struggles, it's a life for the strong. But these are the only moments in my life, no, na pag meron ba siyang sakit, no, parang doon ko lang iniisip na sana meron kang katuwang ba to share the emotional burden of that. And that's really where I feel, powerlessness. So baka kailangan ko din ng referral, actually, Janet. No? So we have to
we'll
really,
do that.
we really have to get that dating app started.
Ipa-project natin.
Yes, very good. Anyway, you guys, kulang talaga, no? Kulang yung 1 hour na sharing talaga natin for our book club. So in the interest of time, no, and for our final question, Kaloy talked about this earlier. Siguro pag nakamit kayo ng financial advisor or ng wealth planner, you'd notice that to us, normal na ba, no, na pag-usapan that death is something that can happen, to all of us. It's just a matter of, when. Yun lang yung hindi natin alam. And while we're, and habang hindi pa siya nangyayari, we plan so that we can make the most of, of our life. So for our final question for this session, you are on your deathbed and you are looking back. What do you hope to see in your life? Actually, Janet, why don't you start us on this question?
Yeah, actually, when Victor was describing the two women na tinanong niya, they were going through a group therapy session to overcome depression. No, it caught me off guard. It caught me off guard because I realized that I have not looked at my life, how I lived it, where I am today, and give it credit. Probably why I feel that I haven't done enough today. Probably why I feel like parang not only not enough, parang hindi worthwhile yung mga nakaraang mga taon ko, no? And every time I would feel that way, friends would, those who are very close to me and know what I went through would remind me, you know what? Just look at your 4 kids. Where are they now? How are they now? And ang sarap sa pakiramdam na hindi nasayang all those years that my world revolved around my children was not wasted. No. And look at where they are now. At some points, they are the one taking care of me. Alam mo ba, when kasi I go to bed early, no, and the kids sometimes stay late. Mararamdaman ko na the kids would come into my room just to check up on me. And sometimes in the morning, my youngest would tell me, Mom, I went into your room. You went to sleep early pala, no? I went to check on you. Tapos alam mo yung minsan kasi I would leave a wall lamp turned on in my room. Magigising ako, nakapatay na siya. Kasi they came in and turned it off. Who does that to their parents? Diba? I mean, hindi pa naman ako yung 80 years old. Yeah. There you go, Kaloy. Diba?
My case usually TV.
TV. Pero yun eh. So if I am on my deathbed, and I've said this before. This was a trip that we had parang in 2018, we went to Osaka, no? Ang prayer ko kasi dati, sabi ko, Lord, wag mo akong kukunin pa hanggat hindi handa ang mga anak ko. Kung sakasakali, the day will come, make sure, and if my children are not ready yet, make sure that there will be somebody there to take my place, to love them as much as I do or more, higit pa, no? And I guess he hasn't found one yet. That's why I'm still here. But that trip in Osaka, I let them, ano lang ako financer lang ako. Sila na ang nagplano lahat.
Tagabayad.
Tagabayad lang. But even the budgeting, they took care of the budgeting that, okay, so every day, this is the money that we have to spend. So shopping will be pushed to the last day because we're not going to spend a lot of money on shopping. We're just going to buy souvenirs. But it's more of the tours. And then sila ang nag-book ng Airbnb, sila ang naghanda ng itinerary, sila ang nag-budget kung saan kami kakain. And the girls are very considerate kasi my son has to eat rice. My son has to eat rice. So the places that we only tried one restaurant that doesn't serve rice, but the rest of the trip, they would check the menu. Are there rice meals for their brother? So I've done my job. I've done my job. And if the Lord would decide to take me today, I've fulfilled my purpose as a human being, which is to take care of my children and to make sure that they grow up to be responsible and loving human beings. Yun.
And that is, a life well lived, no? Ang sarap lang ding pakinggan. Sana huwag mangyari pa soon, I think all of us naman, yun yung aspirations natin that, we fulfill our life's purpose, our life's meaning before, our time is up. Is it the same for you, Amy?
Yeah. So, like Achi, yung this sa dalawang girl, I cried. Because I was looking at the girl, the other one that so successful, have a lot of wealth, and then at the end of the day, she's not happy because she said she's a failure. And then I recently have this you know us, when we're here in the house, we feel that we don't achieve so much. And then my mom said to me, what are you aiming for? The success nga of, I am not really after success, the glitz and glamour. But you know what? It translates in how you do your business if you don't do it. But my mom told me, look at yourself. Look at what you have right now. Look at the family, your kids. Sabi niya, if you want to aim to be successful, we can't have it all. Some people have everything all together, but we don't know really what's happening at the back.
Yeah.
Right? So my mom told me, look at you, what you have right now. Your family, you know, the achievement that me and my husband do, it's not comparable to anyone. Because, you know, in our lives, we're really different, no? So my mom told me, just focus at one stage at a time. So look at your kids. So when I look back, I want to look back as a good example to my kids. Know that while my husband is really providing for us, and why I help him, I never neglect. You know, because I it's just I'm just blessed that I have help because my husband is there to help me take care of the family. So what I am trying to do is when I look back, my children will see that we are a good example to them. While my husband is responsible for us, I am responsible for them. And they will be kind-hearted because that is what I want to be. I'm telling my husband to continue his he has another license to fulfill kasi. So I said to him, Dad, we don't really need a lot of money. That's not a limiting belief, but I want us to be abundant so that we can share the blessings to other people. So that was what I want to look back. And I said here, me and my husband living a fulfilled life, enjoying the retirement that we plan for ourselves. Because we are financial advisors, I want us to really be not a burden to our kids. And I want to be proud of myself looking back on all those family that I serve. Because right now, I have you know, you have new business, you have new families to serve. But looking back at the list of the families that I served already and still serving, I see how, like here in the pandemic, they're able to get money from the policies. You know what? They are the reason why I'm still here. Because sometimes, no, I can easily stop all this and have no stress at all. But you know, I know that my clients will need me at any moment in their lifetime. So, you know, when their kids needs money, I will be there to serve. And they will think, you know what? I want them to thank God because they met me. Because they did not suffer any loss in their family. You know, that's when I look back and say, yeah, that's what the life I want to live. Yeah.
That's very nice. No, a life proudly lived, you know, as very good examples for your children and at the same time, not the families that you have impacted as a financial advisor. That is going to happen for sure, no? Tuloy lang, Amy. Oh, finally si Kaloy. Feeling ko, yung bawat session natin, it's also is a sign for you, no, na, you know, kids, maybe, you know, as something that you can consider in the future, kasi puro kami kids. So for you,
Yes.
Kaloy, looking back, do you see kids or do you see love, no, in the life that you have lived?
Yeah. Ako naman I love kids. Yung mga pamangkin ko, sabi nga nila sa akin ang uso kasi sa TikTok ngayon yung mga single aunties and uncles. Alaga-alaga yung mga pamangkin. Good thing nga lang sa situation ko kasi ngayon, our youngest is about to be engaged. Ang ingay ko yata, baka marinig ka.
Oh,
yeah.
congratulations sa kanya.
Si Kuya. Talaga si Kuya, para hindi magbigay ng apo. So meron na.
May alay na.
May alay na si Kuya. Yan. Yeah, but going back to our question, you know, reflecting upon one's death is really an exercise that I really feel deeply about. Other people may see me as kind of weird na parang bakit ganyan ka? Na parang ang iniisip mo palagi ko iniisip ganito, pag namatay ako ngayon, ano sasabihin sa akin ng mga tao? Have I been able to live a life worthy of somebody who's attending my eulogy and hearing great stuff from me or significant things na i-share nila sa akin. Very, very deep sa akin yan. Like, I do that almost sort of parang every other week or once parang it's a personal reflection of mine that I really haven't written down. It's all in my head. Like before I sleep, what are people going to say at my eulogy? So this is coming in from all of the books that I've read na rin, kasama na ton Man Search for Meaning. I got this activity from 7 Habits and Tuesdays with Maury. If you've encountered that book by Mitch Albom as well, maybe we can talk about that book in another session. So that's really a good book as well. But yeah, coming into that rin kasi, my love language is really word of affirmation. So, and even with my friends, sa lahat ng mga friends ko, college, high school, yung mga new friends na na-build ko throughout this pandemic, kasi I was able to create a community of my investors/friends. So may mga ganun kami. And then, during our one-on-one conversations, I usually ask them like, bakit mo ako friend? Yun lang question na yun. Bakit mo ako friend? And I think I got this from Simon Sinek in one of his blog posts. Why am I your friend? Why am I your friend? So, ilang why?
Yeah.
Na gano'n. Why are you going to pick up your phone at the middle of the night when I call? Why are you going to talk to me? Na parang kahit na busy ka, titigil ka, tapos kakausapin mo, am I that kind of friend to you? And for me, very, very specific ako and talagang ninanamnam ko yung mga sinasabi nila sa akin kasi it's also providing me a kind of feedback rin sa sarili ko. Am I really doing my job? The way that I see our business kasi as a financial advisor, I just don't look at it on the finance side eh. All the while people are telling me, kasi because of my background, I'm really into finance, but I'm actually much more deep. I go into a little bit deeper than that pa eh. Like when I talk to people, I get to know everything about their life. That's the good thing about that's one of the great things about our business eh. Yung hindi mo ina-expect na marinig mong kwento sa kliyente mo, ikakwento nila sa iyo. Di ba? I know all of us here share that, di ba? Kasi hodo yung mga kinaiinisan nila, yung pangarap nila sa buhay. Nakakwento eh, di ba?
Lahat-lahat
It's not because we ask it. Di ba? But it was actually, iniisip ko rin yun eh. Did I really ask for it? Pero it was freely given to us eh, because there's trust.
Yes.
There's also a feeling of being comfortable with a person. And at the end of my life, I really would like to see that when people, medyo naiiyak ako kasi talaga malalim sa akin yun eh. I really would dream about or think about my actual eulogy na. Like who are the people who are going to talk there? Kahit hindi mo in-invite, talagang they're going to get the mic. I have a few people na may relationship ako ngayon sa buhay ko who are gonna do that. Na talagang naiyak ako. Okay. But yeah, it's all coming from gratitude and having that kind of impact sa buhay. It's not every day kasi that I've been doing this business, akala ko okay na yon. Nasabi ko yon. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko nasabi yon or yung advice na nabigay ko sa kanila. Pero through the years, pagka nakausap ko sila ulit or we're doing a policy review, oy, naalala ko, ito nga pala, binasa ko tong libro na to kasi sinabi mo. Ginawa ko yung desisyon na yun sa buhay ko kasi sinabi mo at itong naging resulta. So thank you, Kaloy. Pero sa akin, nalimutan ko na yon at talaga sinabi ko yon, parang hindi galing sa akin yan. Yung mga ganong instances. And I think it's a very weird exercise, but I think it also gives us a kind of feedback rin eh sa atin. Like, how do we really affect people's lives? Are we really going into skin deep or deeper when we are interacting with people and with relationships, especially for those that really do matter to us. And for me, as still as a single guy, relationships really do matter to me. Yung genuine and trusting and comfortable relationships talaga. I really do value it from people around me.
The impact of yourself to others. So that's very nice. A life well lived. Oh, ganyan daw yon. Virtual hugs to you, Kaloy. No, it must have been really, tough for you to say that, but nice to see that vulnerable side of you. To the three of you, very relatable your experiences also. Much like Kaloy, although not very often. Seeing death myself, with the death of my brother, he died at a very young age of 29. That experience already parang gave me an awakening that really life is short, that death really can happen. Yun nga ako, ang prayer ko na lang ngayon, tatlo na lang lagi yung nandoon sa prayer ko, time, wealth, and health. Na sana bigyan pa ako ni Lord ng mahabang time. And dun sa mahabang time na yon, sana healthy ako. And habang healthy ako, sana nakakapagtrabaho ako, nakakapag-generate ako ng wealth for my child and then for my parents to live a good life. So that, when I look back, on my deathbed, my child will tell me that, Mom, in your next lifetime or in my next lifetime, I choose you as my mom again. And in the same thing, I'd like to hear the same also from my parents na, TJ, in our next lifetime, in your next lifetime, ikaw din yung gusto naming maging anak ulit. And I think yun to me, yun talaga yung vision ko of what a life well lived is. And that's it for us, you guys. Kulang talaga yung 1 hour natin. It should be like, actually, Janet, we should have like, a camp. Sort of, Parang mag-camping tayo, And then we spend like a day or two with our fellow WMC alumni, and then we get really like into a sharing, Kulang kasi yung
para retreat na yata yan.
Parang ganyan,
Baka pwede nating gawin kasi I think a couple of weeks ago, Kaloy was out of town, di ba?
Yeah, I was.
Diba?
So we can plan something.
Yes, and then that would be very nice. Something to look forward to because we've been doing this virtual. We're broadcasting, from different locations.
Yeah.
Baka nice naman, for the first time ever, we'll be doing like a broadcast na tayong apat or lahat
person.
Sa isang location. Saya-saya. Anyway, you guys, we hope that in the last hour, you also were inspired, by the writings and the experience of Dr. Viktor Frankl himself. We encourage you all, pick up this book and, try to find meaning in your suffering. If you have not found meaning just yet, that's okay. But then do not stop trying to search for your life's meaning. Why? Because we all are on borrowed time. We only have one life. That's it. We don't get another. So might as well find meaning, live that meaning for ourselves and for the people around us. That's it for all of us, you guys. Join us again next month as we share with you our discoveries from a new book. We hope that you guys stay healthy, stay safe, and see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.